Hi, my name is Sarish Sudhakaran, and in this video, we'll analyze the cinematography of Robert Richardson. The goal is to break down his techniques so you have a starting place to learn more about his work. A lot of people think they recognize Robert Richardson's style because of one single element, which we'll look at in a bit. But as is often the case, it's the small, subtle changes that make all difference. And this is what separates him from the copycats. It's never just one trick that you can pull that will set you apart, and Robert Richardson is one of the best people to learn this lesson from. Those who look for superficial style, myself included, and maybe you watching this video right now, he really doesn't care what you or I think about his cinematography. All he cares about is the story he is telling, and whether or not the director is happy. He has worked with some great and stubborn directors, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Oliver Stone, Robert Redford, and so on. You can't earn their respect if you only care about how your shots look. One major way Robert Richardson works contrary to the norm is he doesn't look for motivation in lighting. Most cinematographers start by asking where the motivation is, where the main light source is coming from. Not Robert. He lights from his understanding of the story and isn't really thinking of conventions. His signature look, one he now takes the trouble to use in moderation, is the high top and backlight. He uses a strong source close to the actor. It can be parkans, Fresnel spots, whatever it takes, but it is always hard and slightly behind the actor, and never in front. It's always a backlight that blows out the rim, sometimes by 6 to 8 stops. And because the backlight is so strong, the bounce that you get from around the room is good enough to fill faces for exposure. But even so, he achieves exposure and color control by using bounce guards and muslin to control contrast and give shape to the light. Earlier in his career, he also used diffusion filters like Pro Mist to force the highlights to bloom. Nowadays, he uses nets to get a more toned down effect. When shooting exteriors, you can see he sticks to this technique. Backlighting helps in keeping the shots consistent even when the lighting changes a lot during the course of a production. Now here's the interesting part. When Robert Richardson doesn't use this technique, his work is even more beautiful. Movies like The Snow Falling on Cedars and The Four Feathers show how capable he is of gorgeous imagery that will always stand the test of time. With modern DI techniques, his work has achieved a cleaner and more consistent look, and he is very mindful and defensive of his artistry. So much so that he took his name off a big movie because the studios interfered with his vision, and I respectfully kept that movie off this video as well. The other often ignored fact of his top lighting style is that the bounce back often happens from the bottom, and his actors tend to be lit from below. Another classic cinematography no-no. This combination of top and backlight and bounce fill is the signature technique that most people attribute to Robert Richardson. Now, let's go further. When he chooses not to use this technique, he short lights his actors with a variation of the book light using both bleached and unbleached muslin. Because muslin eats up a lot of light, he has to use large sources and keeps the lights far away and flags them to control spill. He also uses paper lanterns and general bulbs to get the soft light he wants. It is quite evident he prefers a soft light and sometimes a kicker or two on his actors. One technique many people miss is he uses dimmers to control the background light while a take is in progress. He does this in a subtle way and you're not supposed to know it's happening, like he did on Bringing Out the Dead. When top lighting, he switches off or dims down a top light when it is in danger of becoming a key. When it comes to formats, he shoots on both anamorphic and spherical, but even with the latter he tends to the widescreen aspect ratio. But this is not a rule. He sticks to Panavision Primo lenses and typically shoots at a t-stop of between t2.8 to t4. It gives his imagery a shallow depth of field. However, he also uses wides and greater depth of field when it is required. Even though he prefers primes, he makes exceptions like he did for Tarantino. That's what I meant when I said he's a great example to learn how a cinematographer should operate and can achieve greatness even while working with highly egotistical directors. Speaking of operation, he prefers a fluid head over a geared head and loves to ride on manual cranes instead of electronically controlling one. He prefers to be really into the story and tries to be one with the director's vision. Robert Richardson is the cinematographer every director dreams of having, but few are lucky enough to get. I hope this brief video makes you curious enough to learn more about the brilliant cinematography of Robert Richardson, winner of 3 Academy Awards with 6 additional nominations and counting. The best way to learn more about him is to watch his movies and from his interviews in the American Cinematographer magazine and elsewhere. If there's a favorite cinematographer whose work you want analyzed, let me know. To see more videos like this one, please subscribe. There are lots more on the way. Bye now.